Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and I'm really excited to share with you Primates, the board game. This is essentially an exploration of the evolution of primates in about 60 minutes and was designed with educating in mind, but has a solid core for a game. Now, this is for 2 to 4 players, and as an educator, I really like the idea or the aspect of learning as I play. It reminds me a lot of the game that came out a couple years back, Herstory, where it's an accessible entry-level game, but while you're playing it, you're essentially just reading all of the cards and learning about history and learning about women's influence on society and celebrating women. And so in this case, we are learning a lot about primates, and we've got this massive board. Take a look at this. So players are essentially going to be working their way. They've got 3 of these little figures, and they are going to work their way up these evolutionary trees or tracks. And we're going to be going up to 6 different categories: wet-nosed, tarsiers, New World monkeys, great apes, gibbons, and Old World monkeys. There are going to be some bonus cards on the side here. There are a ton of, and you'll see that they're massive. I love these big tarot-sized cards. They're really nice. The artwork is fantastic. The iconography is so clear. And as you can see, you will want to read everything on here. As I said before, this game is all about learning. So you've got this wildlife corridor. Wildlife corridors are used to connect habitats so that animals can pass through agricultural or urban areas unhindered. So not only do you have that image of it, you also have the description of it, and you have the terminology, and then of course you get, here's what the action gives you in the game. Anytime it's a lightning bolt, it's immediate. Sometimes you get these possibilities. You get possibilities for victory points based on what's listed below. Lorisiformes is an infraorder of strepsirrhines, which includes Galagos, Potos, Anguantibos, and Lorises. Now, do your best. That's part of this, is really just getting through it, reading as best you can, sharing the information, and then you'll see that description down there. This is just dynamite. This is one stack. One stack! You have to just randomly, shuffle up and divide them into these cards. So bonus cards. These up here are the different primates that you are working towards to collect in your personal area, and they also come with traits. You'll see down here they've got a trait. So in this case, you've got Kenya Coast Galago, and they come with the grooming claw. Not only are they worth 3 points at the end of the game, they come with the grooming claw, and you will simply look through the traits pile for grooming claw. Here it is. These are not shuffled up, they are just organized alphabetically at first, and then you read this card and it says here they have a grooming claw used for personal grooming, and then it gives you what your card's benefit is. So you've got everything that's color-coded, that's organized, beautiful artwork and imagery here, fantastic. And over here you've probably been looking at these cards. These are the extinct primates. And so you've got 3 stacks, you just divide them up randomly. And you'll also start to see that there's these little cube icons. So for instance, if you've got Danuvius, you've got to exchange. You've got to turn back in 2 greens and 2 oranges back to the pool so that you can collect this particular extinct. And you always know it's extinct. And they also are on a location where they went extinct in this timeline or in this history or evolution of primates. It was right here at H5. They didn't make it all the way up to here. So that's what you've got here are the extinct, and then more terminology, which I just absolutely adore. These are the extant, E-X-T-A-N-T primates. They still are around. So players move these figures up these tracks in order to collect the extinct primates, to collect the extant primates, and then there's another action to essentially pass and collect a bonus card. But round by round, you're going to have essentially 10 rounds in a 4-player game, 9 rounds in a 3-player, and 8 in a 2-player. Every player is essentially going to be turning over one of these cards, and there will be a population of these cubes. So this is one way that players are going to be finding these particular cubes, and this is food. This is food for your primates, and it says here the Muntingia, Kalubura, The fruits taste similar to cotton candy. It's a popular food among spider monkeys. And you'll see at P6, you're going to place down 1 orange cube. You take this and you go to P6 and you put it down right there. And this card happens on players' turns. So every single time it's a player's turn, you're going to have this card flip over and food is going to populate at a variety of places on this track. So if you end up on these particular spaces, you then get to collect those food. And the food is, of course, how you are going to essentially purchase or collect those extinct primate cards. This is cool. I really think this is a fantastic way to explore and learn all about primates in a really accessible, easy to understand, colorful, and really fun way. So these are going to be the player boards. This is the 4-player. You keep your bonus cards to the side of your player board. This is where you're going to keep all 4 of those food icons that do associate with real food that particular primates are going to eat. So for example, the orange food tokens represents fruit, nuts and seeds, and then green food tokens represent leaves and algae, and brown food tokens represent animal foods such as insects and meats. And then you've got this little yellow drop that says exudate food tokens represent the substances secreted by plant or insects such as nectar, tree gum, and honeydew. And those are wild in the game. So these are just really, again, fantastic ways to explore and to kind of learn all about primates and their existence. Here is where you put those extinct. When you grab these, you're going to be putting them in this area right here. Here is where you collect and keep your extant. So they go here. And you're also going to collect that card. You can use any number of your trait cards on your turn. And then to the side here is where you keep those. So I get super memory, and I would put super memory to the side with my Nigerian Cameroon chimpanzee. These are it. There's that orangutan, bush baby, marmoset, and then sifaka. These are so cool. This is really cool. So the production here is dynamite. It's absolutely out of this world. The cards are really well made. Everything is super thoughtful. There is a ton of replayability here because these stacks have quite a bit of primates in them, in addition to having a ton of these cards that happen. You do not go through this whole stack. So if you have 4 players and you have 10 rounds, you're picking 40 of these cards essentially. And you are going to be playing that way. So again, every player is going to get 1 on their turn for each of the rounds. So you shuffle these and you're going to have a variety of food that's placed out in a variety of places. And there are a ton of these bonus cards, and every single bonus card is specifically focused on some aspect or element of primate life. This is great. Super fun. Again, accessible. That hour-long game, I think it fits squarely within a 75-minute class period if you want to do that. But if you don't, you can just play it to learn. So, tons to like here. There is a little bit of that dice rolling feature. So when you want to move your primates, you say, I want to move all of them or I want to move one of them. And if you want to move all, you roll 3 dice and assign 1 die to each primate. If you want to move just one, you'll roll 2 dice and then you'll move that one both of those spaces. There is no, you have to move exactly the number of the spaces. There is no I want to go less or I want to add more. You just have to go exactly that amount of spaces. And the dice are 1, 2, and 3. So there is a little bit of that randomness, a little bit of the dice rolls, and where you go and where you place, because you want to stop along the way and essentially purchase these extinct primates, but you may not have the chance to stop if you don't roll the right die. But that aside, tons to learn here and tons to like. So that's going to wrap up my overview and things I really enjoy about primates and why it is beneficial for a learning experience, but also just to have a good time. And boy, is it well made. Also, at the back of the rule book, there are tons of these explorations or implementations of this game in the classroom, in the biology classroom, chemistry, ecology, ethology, geology, and law. So tons of stuff here that could potentially really benefit those particular classrooms. So if that sounds good to you, check it out. I've got all the information in the description below. You can check it out. And I will see you next time, folks. Bye.